1 minute until showtime. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here from Kalispell, Montana. I'm your host, James White, just trying some new stuff out here. Thanks so much for joining me here on Montana Gazette Radio. Now, we see this box here. It's supposed to have the chat room open for Facebook. It doesn't look like that is configured properly for some reason. Still working out some of the kinks here on the broadcast. Thanks so much for joining us here. We're live in Kalispell, Montana on the 20th day of September, 2021. We are rapidly trying to put together all the components to make this show go live on AM and FM. We are pretty close to that. Not quite there yet. We still have some audio files that need to be worked out and some show openings and that type of stuff. But generally speaking, we're pretty much ready to go. We appreciate you joining us here today on the show, and we're going to be covering some topics today of interest. We're going to open up the phone lines. So you can see the number there is 516-418-5884. We're not probably going to open the phone lines just yet, but we will. When we do, we'll let you know. And we're going to cover some things beforehand. Now, I'm just curious to know why this is not working here, this chat thing. But maybe it's on my personal channel. I just don't know. I don't know why this doesn't work. I'll have to look into that. But I think I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that now because it doesn't look like it's working. Unless I'm not live on Facebook, which I think I am. Let me check over here. Here's the Facebook. Here's the Facebook app over here on the left, and I will confirm. Yeah, it looks like I'm live right now. So anyway, we're not chatting. I think if you want to chat on Facebook, there I can see you on the screen because I have 4 monitors here. I think I sent you over the photo here of the way we got it. I have it set up here. So it looks like I am going live right now on Facebook, and if you want to chat on there, I can probably see it, I believe. So again, thanks so much for joining us here today. We're going to be covering several topics I think that are of interest. Let's see, let's remove this here. The least of which is not there's a couple different things that are really troubling here in Flathead Valley. And we're going to cover that. We're going to cover the seemingly increasing crime rate here in Montana and in the Flathead Valley. And we have some statistics by the FBI. Now I'm hoping that this is coming in okay. Looks like I'm froze up here on Facebook, on this Facebook app here. Again, folks, we're just working out some of the bugs here, some of the kinks, and let's see if it comes back on again. I'm assuming that I'm on Facebook and then people can hear me. Looks like I'm froze up here. There we go. Yeah, okay. So my voice is coming across Facebook. Okay, I'm using a different microphone, as you can see. You probably can't see the microphone. It's blocked by my name there, but this is a lavalier microphone I have on my lapel here, my shirt. That I don't have the other microphones is gone. And eventually I'm going to be getting some earpieces, I hope, to put in my ears so I don't have to wear these Hey, Fred. I don't have to wear these. I can see you. That's good, Fred. Thanks for chatting. I don't have to wear these headphones. I think, Fred, that your account got. I think your account got hacked. Fred, you probably know this. I think you sent a message out. So I'm not sure if this is the real Fred. This is the real Fred or not. This could be the hacked Fred. But one would think that if someone would hack into Fred's account, they would have better things to do than to watch my program. But I could be wrong. Yeah, I got a message from Fred a little bit earlier that seems kind of odd. So we'll see. It's him. That's what he says. All right, Fred, good to see you, man. I'm going to be getting back in the swing of things. I was just thinking about you earlier today. Isn't that funny? Wondering how you're doing out there. Fred's a friend of mine, great friend of mine from Michigan, the Mitten. And I tell you one thing, they have some serious issues in Michigan with their governor there, as we know. Their governor there's well, less than desirable. Let's put it that way. Let's be kind. I wouldn't really want her as my governor. Let's put it that way. As you can see, the lines. We're not ready to open the lines yet. We're going to cover a few things, and then we will. But when we do, you can write this phone number down here: 516-418-5884. Now we may eventually We may eventually get a Montana number. That's going to be a 406 number. But these days with mobile phones, it really doesn't matter. I mean, frankly, you can call really anywhere in the continental United States, and even some other countries probably, with with your mobile phones, and just have a standard coverage, standard charges. So this is, the number is really, it's sort of irrelevant. As long as it's a United States number, I don't think it really matters. Go Blue. Yeah, now that's that would be a Fred statement there. Go Blue. That would for sure be a Fred statement. Certainly not Go Green. Boy, I tell you, that reminds me, that takes me back to the days back in Michigan when I worked in the computer industry back there. And we had a guy in the department that, two guys that were always going at it with Michigan State. I mean, it was, one of those things. Never got violent or anything. It was all in good fun. But I think there was a lot of money that changed hands over the games, over the many years I worked there. I think a lot of money changed hands, and I think they even did some sort of a thing where one person had to wear the hat of the other team if they won, or something like that. At any rate, it was all good fun. But Dad, don't follow that stuff really anymore. Football and everything, and sports. I couldn't even really tell you. Couldn't even really tell you what the names of most of the players are on any of the teams in Detroit. Now, there's no, as you know, if you lived in Montana or been around Montana, there's really no professional sports teams, so to speak, here in Montana. So I look back and in Michigan, of course, there were lots of sports teams, and I haven't followed them, don't know the people on there. At any rate, it'd be nice, it'd be nice to be able to have that type of a life where that stuff wasn't really, that you could sit back and spend time, watching sports, on a regular basis. I just don't have the time to do that. I think I just have such a feeling of urgency that things are going on. That's why I've been working so diligently to get this studio set up here and the green screens, and you can't see in the other room there. You can't see I have the green screen set up in the other room as well. I'm working right now trying to get some technical things worked out where I can pull this green screen here on my camera and then another green screen on a separate camera. But I haven't really had a time to figure all that technology out just yet. Hopefully I will do that soon. And we're going to have people that are going to be in studio. The in-studio guests are going to be over there in front of the green screen. And I think it's going to be pretty cool when I get it all worked out. So it's a continuing process. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of different cables and different types of cables and different, you got to run them a certain way, and there's, it's not rocket science, but it takes time and planning to put together, and hopefully when it all gets done, it'll be worth it. So what you can't see here, and I've mentioned this before, is these two giant lights right in front of my face, just on the other side of the monitors, and they're just like blasting me. You can probably see the shine on my forehead from the one that's directly in front of me. There's another one that's up there, over here in the corner, and it's shining right down over here on my chrome, soon-to-be chrome dome. I wonder what happens when you get to a point here. I'm getting some text. I wonder what happens. At what point does someone get to the point where they say, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and shave. I'm going to turn this ringer down. I'm just going to go ahead and shave my whole entire head and just go bald. I know that maybe hits people at a different point, but if I get the whole balding and it's all starting to get all bald, I'm just going to shave the whole thing. I mean, I know there's some maintenance in keeping that up, but I'm just going to shave the whole damn thing. I'm going to play around. At any rate, let's hope it's years away from that happening. Maybe they'll come out with some miracle hair growth drug or something. Hey, Johnny. Yeah, I can see the chats here in Facebook. I'm a little bit disappointed that the chat didn't come up. A little disappointed that the chat didn't come up here in the production thing like it was supposed to. And I think that's a flaw in that program, because I should be able to choose the channels I manage, the pages I manage, but it doesn't give you that sub choice. You probably don't know what the heck I'm talking about, and that's okay. You probably don't have to worry about it. All right, let me just refresh this page. Yeah, folks, if you're watching on Facebook and you want to drop something in the chat, it looks like it's coming through, and I'll do my best to poke my head over there every once in a while and check out what's going on. Please go ahead and like the video and pass it around. We're going to be getting into, as soon as we get on the regular network regularly, we're going to start interviewing the legislators that are coming up here in Montana, certainly, and hopefully others. I usually have pretty good luck at getting a wide variety of different guests, and we will do that. We've got got a couple of cases here that we're working on. The Whitefish Credit Union case is still ongoing. Matter of fact, I've been corresponding about that the last couple of days, and there's another land case also that I'm working on as well. Going to be doing an interview there Wednesday for that, and we're going to be writing an article there and taking care of that on Wednesday. So I'll publish that when I get the article all taken care of and ready to go. All right, let's cover some of the stuff here. First, let's cover the. Oh, by the way, we're live right now. Let me give you the places that we're live. And I believe these are all on the Montana Gazette Radio page website. It's right there at the bottom here. MontanaGazetteRadio.com. That's MontanaGazetteRadio.com. So we're currently broadcasting on Facebook. Okay, so that must be a Telegram. We'll be broadcasting live on Telegram hopefully very soon. I just created a Telegram channel, by the way. It is Montana Gazette Radio. What do you know? So if you go to Telegram and type in Montana Gazette Radio, you can join. I'm going to turn it off right now because it dings like that, and that ding is kind of annoying when I'm trying to do the show. So I'm going to turn off Telegram right now currently, and I will turn it back on after the broadcast is over. I'll pop this back up again. So we're going to go over the insurgency, and if you're not certain what the insurgency is a newsletter that is sent out by the Gideon Knox Group. J.D. Hall has put this newsletter together. We're going to be referring to the insurgency quite often on this broadcast. We're going to be covering stories from the insurgency. They do a great job of aggregating a lot of the stories that don't get widely published because because they expose the crooked deep state. Oh, the background looks great. Thanks, sweetheart. That's my wife chiming in. Yeah, thanks. It's the lighting, I think. I've been tweaking this and trying to get this straightened out here. I think the background does look great. So there's a little slot here. If you remember before, there was like where this Montana Gazette radio thing is. There was a little. Let's see if I can actually bring it up here. Yeah. So I just used this and covered it, and I think that looks decent. Might as well put that there, right? So if you're into broadcasting and that's something that you're thinking about doing, then this isn't really I'm not paid for this. Actually, there is an affiliate program, but I haven't really signed up for it. But if you're looking for something, you've heard of OBS and XSplit are the two main production softwares, and I'm using XSplit. I favor it because I've used it and learned some of the finer points. Now I have Wirecast as well that I've been trying to learn, but Wirecast is having a problem with multiple cameras, and I have to really call into the tech support and find out why. I have no problem with multiple cameras here on with this software. See if I can even bring another camera in right now. I might be able to. I have this other one here. Is this one plugged in and ready to go? Yeah, it is. So there's this other camera right here. So I just turned a little bit and tilt, and you can probably see. I can't see myself because I'm not looking at the monitor. But I can switch cameras there and then go back to this view right here. Now it doesn't do it quickly. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a glitch, so I probably won't be doing that maneuver very often. But anyway, it's available, and this is a really fast system. The newspaper sent me a pretty fast machine here. So I'm broadcasting right now on Facebook through Restream, Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, and on Rumble, and you can get to those at MontanaGazetteRadio.com. Now there's a bunch of links on MontanaGazetteRadio.com of other sites that I've created. Haven't really uploaded much there yet because I'm not really officially. This isn't really quote unquote the official show. That will be accompanied with the proper music and commercial breaks and all that stuff, which we're putting. We have professional voice talent people that are doing that professional voice talent stuff. So when that gets all completed, we're going to put all that together, and the show will be launched, and it'll be on AM. And in the meantime, I'm going to do shows. In this week is the plan, and get myself acclimated. I remember I'm used to broadcasting really early in the day, so this is a new thing for me. This 5 to 7 p.m. really is in preparation for the fellows over there in the Great Falls and Helena market, who we have had several conversations with. We chatted through Facebook several times and had a phone conference, and they suggested that would be a good time for their slot there, and they have a large listening audience. So we're working on putting that together. KHDN will be broadcasting there for certain. That's in the Billings market. KHDN AM 1230. That is not going to reach here in Kalispell. It's not going to reach Helena or Great Falls. It will, however, reach Billings and the surrounding areas during the day, 5 to 7. That's going to be the time it's going to be broadcast. So we'll fully make everyone aware of that when that actual time happens. Again, we're shooting from a week from today, if we get all the audio files and everything taken care of in time. All right, let's cover the insurgency. The insurgency, as I was stating before, is it's a news aggregate email that you get from the Gideon Knox group. There's a free version and a paid version, and you can get message or emails sent in your mailbox every day, and we're going to go over those. It'll be a regular part of the program is doing the follow up with the insurgency email and hitting some of the links there. And then we're going to cover today really what the topic of the broadcast is. Then that'll be more towards the second hour, and then we'll take phone calls. But this is more in line with the title of the show is Flathead Valley Growing More Dangerous by the Day. I think people would be surprised that live in the Flathead Valley Just, you know, the rate of crime. You know, you just look it up. You do some research earlier on crime and crime statistics here, and it's a lot worse than I thought it was. Now it's not. You know, we're not talking south side of Chicago or anything like that. I mean, not even close. But this is Montana. You know what? This thing here. Maybe I should try to put this headphones behind my head, because then they're not going to be rubbing up against that. There we go. Not going to be rubbing up against that microphone, because that is annoying, and I don't like to be annoyed. Who does? So I'm just going to put that behind there, and now you can't even tell. Again, we are doing these things on the fly here. Some of these things we've got to figure out as we go. I'm used to having that microphone right in front, as you know, with the well, somewhere around here. I have it. Well, here's the actual. This is the actual microphone, but it's set aside. It's not even plugged in. But there's a stand and everything that I have in an emergency if the batteries run out on this microphone that I'm using now. I've got this as a standby backup, so the show must go on, so the show can continue to go on. And we're just, you know, learning some of these things as we go along. It just is the way that it is. You know, it's the good thing is I'm really learning a lot about a lot of different things. So I guess there's a positive side to that. And sometimes it's overwhelming, but I think the worst is behind me here, and I just have to learn this software. So to finish what I was saying before, broadcasting on all those formats. We're also broadcasting on Blog Talk Radio. If you just look up Montana Gazette Radio on Blog Talk Radio, you can find us there. We're also now going to be broadcasting every day on Podbean. If you go to Podbean and type in Montana Gazette Radio, and also I think it's on iTunes. It's going to be sent to iTunes. I think that's what they do here with Podbean. They send it out to a bunch of different locations. So it's going to be going to iTunes and everything. So it'll be out there. It'll be pretty easy to find. And the great thing about this is the this machine right here allows me to do all these different, to broadcast in all these different locations simultaneously. And the machine I had before was getting bogged down some, and I'd be getting messages popping up about CPU usage and that and whatnot. But this here is, you know, I'm looking at these stats on the bottom here. I mean, the CPU is only at 14%, and the GPU's at 33%. Before, it used to be up in the 70s and 80s, and it would peak up to close to 100%, which then you get those error messages and things would lag. So we're delighted with this program, and I think it's going to be great. We're going to be operating the whole network here, the radio station right out of here out of Kalispell. So good times coming. All right, so let's talk about the insurgency, and you can also sign up for the insurgency on many of the articles, the links there, but we're going to bring up the page actually, and you can see that page. So let me pop this open here, and we will talk about it. So the insurgency is a email. This is from the Gideon Knox group. First of all, to get to the insurgency and to sign up and get on the mailing list, as I said, there's two different programs. There's the free program, and there is the subscription program. And I think it's only like $7 a month. Plus, you're helping, you know, a good cause. You're helping conservative press. So this is the insurgency. It's at gideonnox.substack.com. If you just go there and this whole / P, the insurgency 68A, you don't have to have all that information. All you have to have is, let me close that. All you need to have is gideonnox.substack.com. gideonnox.substack.com. If you go there, you can sign up for this newsletter. It comes in your mailbox every day or every 3 days, every 3 times a week. All right, so let's check out some of these articles here on the insurgency. And this is they were looking at, I mean, I don't know how many illegals have come across, several 100,000 from what I can gather from what we gather, or more. I mean, totally, of course, it's in the millions. It's in the millions. But this bill right here is sort of slowing that down. But for how long? Right? Senate parliamentarian rules against the Dem amnesty push and reconciliation bill. A reconciliation bill can currently pass without any need for any Senate Republican votes. So this is the point here. These things you see here with this type of activity at the border is designed, of course, as you know, folks, to destroy this country and bring us, really bring us to our knees. The Cloward-Piven strategy. They just overwhelm the system where it just collapses. The problem is, sadly, the security risk is high. The only thing really that's keeping, I think, a foreign nation from perhaps considering an invasion, they're probably considering one already, is the fact that so many Americans have firearms. We have millions and millions and tens of millions, if not, I think over 100 million, probably over 200 million firearms. And a lot of the first-time firearm users are what you would consider liberals. There are a lot of the folks that are buying firearms now, which is a good thing. As long as they're properly trained and they're not buying firearms and burning down Taco Bell, of course. But here's the thing I've stated on this broadcast numerous times, and it's going to stand until something changes my mind. But there's no doubt that some of the most polite and respectful people that I've ever come in contact with or had the opportunity to interact with have been gun owners. People that have are FFL, not necessarily FFL, but have concealed carry permits. Now they're not really necessary here in Montana anymore. But you get my point. I mean, people that are trained in firearms and that have respect for firearms typically have respect for other people as well, and are generally polite and they understand, the power that you just don't pull a gun out on someone. I mean, there's some serious ramifications, if things go bad. So. That's always, I think, the last resort. I'm against offensive violence against people and violating, because it's for a variety of reasons. Take the Christian reasons right out of it. You shouldn't kill anybody or harm anybody, aggressively and proactively, offensively, I guess. But if I am a full 1,000% supporter of defending yourself if you get attacked, or your family, and you have to defend them. If the consequences work themselves out where, the worst happens, or the things turn really bad for the perpetrator, I guess don't try to harm someone's family. And we hope and pray that never happens, but, that's one of the great things about having firearms is you have the ability to protect yourself, because it takes the cops a long time to get there. And, when someone breaks into your window, into your home, let's say in the front room or something, and you're sleeping in the back, how long do you think it's going to take that person to get to your room? Do you think that it's going to take the cops longer to get in the car and drive over, or you think they're going to be able to get to your room before the cops show up? Well, you know the answer to that, folks. Come on. That's why you have to, police show up and take reports and, put chalk outlines around people's bodies and collect evidence and try to find perpetrators. There's not many instances. And has it happened? Probably somewhere. But is it likely that a cop is going to show up at just the time you need them, and they are going to be able to assess the situation and be able to defend your life just by chance? No, it's probably never going to happen. I mean, again, has it happened in some places? Probably. Has it happened sometimes? Probably. Likely? No. No, that's why you need to have your own firearm to defend yourself. This here is mine that I have here in this studio in case somebody tries some funny business. I have others that are out of screen here that you can't see. However, this is what I have close to me in case I need it. So I'm a believer. I'm a full-blown believer in defending yourself and protecting yourself and protecting your family. Thanks, Mary. Appreciate the comment. Yeah, if I don't see your comments right away, folks, it's because I don't look over here. You can't really see this, but the big screen is over here, up here. And I look over there on occasion, and I can see the chat room there. But I'm going to try to get this chat thing fixed. I know there's a YouTube chat as well that I could pop in. Hey, Patrick. I wonder why it hid that message. I wonder why it hid Patrick's message. Sorry about that, Patrick. I don't know why I did that. Patrick Lynn's my friend, and they blocked his message. They didn't block it, but they blacked it out, and I had to actually I had to hit a button so I could see it, so everybody could see it. Anyway, I do the processor priority. Yeah, you're on some lists. Yeah, hey, welcome to the club. Yeah, I'm sure I'm on a list or two probably as well. I'm sure I am. I think I've been on a list ever since I sat down in Clive Bundy's living room there with Ren Bodecker and interviewed Clive Bundy there back in the standoff days in 2014. And then I've had, of course, went back down and interviewed Carol, his wife. That was a great interview. That was one of my favorite interviews I've ever done with anyone, is when that interview I did with Carol Bundy down there at the ranch there in Nevada. There was just, and I got to bring that video back up and cop it back up to Rumble. Of course, it was on my YouTube channel that they butchered, that they took down, and that interview is no longer in the public sphere. I have it saved on my. I backed up everything because I had anticipated that they would be cutting my channel out. So I have several very large hard drives that I have a lot of data backed up on here and in other locations. And I was able to back up all of the YouTube videos from my channel before they waxed it. But that Carol Bundy interview was great. It was outdoors. It was out in her backyard, and you can hear the wildlife in the background. It was a great soundtrack to the recording, to the video. It was a great a great soundtrack to it. Is hearing, it was in the nature, and then there was chickens that were cackling. That we had to actually take a break. A chicken got caught in a bush, I think, right behind where we were interviewing, and this thing was just going to town. We had to run that chicken off, and then get started the interview again. But that was it seemed so long ago. That's probably 5 or 6 years ago. I had to bring that interview back up again. All right, let's go over to again, folks. Here's the call-in line: 516-418-5884. Not taking calls yet. To write it down when I do take calls, you can certainly call in. And just a precursor, I'll probably say this again before I actually take calls. But the rules for the call-in line are the same as they've always been. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with the guests. Just don't be abusive and don't be vulgar. We're not a vulgar show. There are plenty of shows out there that use vulgarity regularly, and it's okay. It's free. That's their freedom to do what they want to do. That's up to them. I'm not going to try to stop them, as I wouldn't want them to try to stop me. That's just not my style. It's not how I roll, as they say. So if you do call in, just keep it respectable and keep it clean, and keep it family friendly, and we'll get along just fine. All right, so let's bring up this insurgency here, see if it's still up here. If I pop this here, it is. All right, I got to bring up the actual web page here. Let's see. The left is terrified of this new NRA ad. Minorities speaking out for the Second Amendment. Well, there you go. We have a Second Amendment story here. I didn't really know that that was the next story, but we'll pop this up here. It's loading right now. This webpage is a little bit slow. This connection is actually pretty fast here at the studios, unless the internet's down. I don't think it is. There we go. The left is terrorized of this new NRA ad, minorities speaking out for the Second Amendment. This is from someone named Zach Heileman. And this apparently is as you can see, looks like a large group of a large group, but 8, 10, 12 people there, 10 people. Minorities that are, looks like they're at the gun range. It's like they're shooting targets. An armed society is a polite society. That is a truism. That's a truism. An armed society is a polite society. There's no denying that. So let's discuss some of these articles here on the insurgency a little bit more. Let me got everything here. Pop this back up. Armed man detained at Justice for J6 rally exposed as undercover law enforcement. Yeah, we're not going to watch the video here, but did you have a chance to see this, folks? This guy that gets pulled over, and he gets pulled over. He's the only armed guy there, and he's actually on the job, and they walk him off. They walk him off the property. There's like 8 or 6 or 8 of these guys dressed up. And here's the thing too. I was watching this video. And it's like these guys are just dressed like stormtroopers. These guys are just they got 2 or 3 different weapons. They got all black uniforms. They got helmets. Looks like they got padding or something underneath. I don't know what they're wearing. But it's like, these guys look like, it's something out of some sort of a freaking Judge Dredd movie or something. These guys, these police. Do you really need to have all that? What happened to the guy that just, carried a 38 and a uniform, maybe a jacket if it got cold? What happened to those days? Where are those days? How about the days of old when you could just go out and walk down the street and you could just talk to the cop and they're friendly? I know I'm not going to say, Andy Griffin, because we know those days are long gone. But even post Andy Griffin, for crying out loud. It wasn't that long ago. My lifetime, maybe when I was very, very young. But there is a time when you could, you knew your police, you were friendly with them. And it wasn't the us versus them mentality that it is now. It's terrible. And I'm not bashing police. Right? Just like any other profession. There's crooked librarians, right? There's crooked, attorneys. There's crooked police. There's crooked auto mechanics, right? There's crooked real estate people. So it's not just picking on police, because there are crooked people, in all different professions. But the problem with it being in the police force is that they have so much power over everybody. They have, if 2 cops roll in and got a throwdown piece in their ankle holster, and a throwdown piece is like a non-traceable gun that is not registered anywhere. If 2 cops roll up and they want you, and they pop a cap in you and throw that piece down, and one of them stands behind the other one and says, yeah, they pulled the gun out on us, and pulled the gun out, and White pulled the gun, and we had to drop them. Who do you think they're going to believe? Come on. Right? Now, is there any way to mitigate that, to stop that? I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I just know we need to get back to the days where it's not us against them, right? They've really played this domestic terrorism thing up to the point where they got these cops all ramped up. They're all worked up. Majority of the folks just want liberty. They just want to be free. They don't want to be bound by the chains of tyranny. That's all most folks just want. Most folks just want to be able to go to work, put some money away for college or for retirement, have a vacation 2-3 weeks out of the year, barbecue some chicken and steaks on the weekend. If you're lucky enough to get a pool, do some swimming here and there. I mean, that's generally speaking, most people are not out to overthrow anything or take over the town or the county or anything like that. I mean, there's this whole domestic terrorism thing has just been totally blown out of proportion. I mean, it's a straw man. It's other domestic terrorists. Yeah, of course there's domestic terrorists, and I submit to you that they're members of the FBI. That's who the domestic terrorists are. The FBI. It's sad, but true. Losing track of time here. I probably should have ran a commercial. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having regular commercial breaks, like a regular radio show that you listen to on an AM station. And we're going to have, show tunes, but, intros and promos and that type of thing. So that's all going to be coming eventually. In the meantime, we're doing the old style where I just do a commercial every once or twice a show, do a commercial break. But that eventually will be changed. I'll have like a show clock. But I am going to be taking calls most of the time, most of the days, unless I have back-to-back interviews, which is I guess possible. But I'm going to be trying some of these drops that I have here, and I don't know how they're going to work out. I don't know when I'm going to be able to pop them in and use them, but I'm going to do my best to try if I can, and hopefully lighten the show up a little bit, because we're in serious times right now. I mean, we really are. I mean, we're that's a whole my view on globally, the global perspective on what we're up against. There was some dark times ahead. There's no doubt about it. There's a great awakening going on. Whether you subscribe to the QAnon thing or you don't, or whatever you think of it, doesn't really even matter. The fact of the matter is people are waking up all over the world. And, how do you like this? What is this? It wasn't Cardi B. I can't remember the name of the other. You think I'd remember her because she's been one of the most famous people here in the last, 10 days or 2 weeks, who stood up to the. I just heard him drawing a blank. I don't think it's Cardi B. I can't remember the name. I can't remember her name. Anyway, I'm not a fan of that type of music at all. I'm an '80s music guy, I guess, if it's important, which is probably not. All right, let's. Oh, by the way, listen to a great interview, and I actually sent David a text to let him know how great it was, and we're going to have David on the broadcast here. He's a pretty good dude, David Morgan, but he just did an interview with David Morgan and Cliff High, who have interviewed both of those gentlemen. They just did an interview with a guy named Jean Claude, who I'm not that familiar with. Anyway, great interview. If you like David Morgan, talk about silver and what's coming up with silver. I don't even know the guy's names. I'm BitChute, Jean Claude. But David Morgan's a good dude. Going to have him on the program here, as I said. As soon as we get things rolling, rocking and rolling, we'll have David Morgan on. David Morgan is the silver guru, and he is one of the experts in the country, I think. He's a buddy of mine, and he actually he is a sponsor, an affiliate for selling food for Patriot Prepared. Okay, so let's get back to the insurgency. So, of course, the only person that is arrested, detained, is an undercover, of course. This is the type of situation we got here where they want to set people up. Fulton, Georgia, ballot inspection hearing underway. So here's what I think about this. OAN, this is updated today. The battle for election integrity in Georgia is moving full speed ahead. A court hearing in Fulton County is set to begin Monday to determine whether attorneys can investigate mail-in ballots. Now, here's the thing, right? this is going to be stalled, and they're just going to continue to push this off, and they're going to continue to do whatever they can to. I mean, I don't think this whole recount thing is all. I don't even know if there's really any provisions to like overthrow. I say overthrow, but overturn the vote. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that. We have someone here in right outside the town here, who I consult with, who is an expert on that. She actually consulted with the state of Montana for their voter stuff. Been trying to get her on the broadcast and reach out to her, but I know she's been tied up with things. I don't believe that this mail-in ballot counting thing is really going to be all that people think it is. Hope I'm wrong. I mean, like we spoke about here on the broadcast, folks, numerous times. Do we need any more investigations? Do we need any more special counsels? Do we need any more, long-winded explanations or Senate hearings? No. We don't need any of these things any longer. We know these people are crooks. They're crooks. They're crooks. They're crooks. They're crooked. We know this. We don't need any more confirmation. Here lies the problem. There is seemingly no justice phase. I mean, where's the justice phase? Where is the Justice Department? Where is anybody that's looking to mete out any justice upon these crooks? Don't know. Don't know where they're at. Well, it's the plan, it's the military, and okay. Probably should do something pretty soon, I'm thinking. Did you see the amount of migrants that are flooding the borders down there? It's like an invasion. And there's like another caravan load coming. These people are not, majority, are probably decent folks looking for a better life. And we've said this before on the show. I can't, if I was the situation were reversed and I had a family that lived in squalor and lived in a crime-ridden, corrupt, I'm just about describing the United States here, sadly, but lived in a crime-ridden, corrupt, dictatorship and with corrupt law enforcement and corrupt politicians, I guess I just pretty much have described the United States. And they want to leave that situation if they think their family's in danger. And they want to leave that situation and go to a better place. I mean, if you put yourself in those shoes, folks, wouldn't you do the same thing for your children? Now, that being said, those are not necessarily the folks that concern me so much. Okay? Not that we have the money or the resources to be able to take care of these people. Of course, they just print whatever money they need, and that's not going to end well either. It's not those people necessarily that are fleeing families that are legitimately looking for, parents that are looking for a better life for their children. Who could blame them for that? That's not the people that concern me. It's all the rest. It's all the rest of the drug smugglers and the drug traffickers and the child traffickers and the gun runners and, car thieves and murderers and rapists and you name it. What about those folks? Those are the ones that concern me. Those are the ones that concern me. Now, the only hope is, of course, this is what you get. This is what happens when this situation gets brought up. I've heard it described as this, and I don't know if this is going to be reality or not. But apparently, the thought is if we just keep fighting and take down this global empire, which we really have no choice at this point, it's us or them. I think the gauntlet's been thrown down. I think that people that have, even a decent amount of sense realize that the gauntlet's been thrown down. It's us or them. There's no other way to describe it. You see what they're doing with the mandates, how they're masking people up still, and they hate us, they hate you, they hate me, they want to kill us. So we know this, right? We know this is happening. And not only us, but a lot of other people. Nicki Minaj is the name of the person that I was trying to think of. Not Cardi B. Nicki Minaj is of course, she's been in the news because she spoke up and she spoke out, which is exactly what needs to happen. As I stated, Nicki Minaj didn't get a baseball bat. She didn't get a tire iron, a motorcycle chain, firearm, hunting knife, or, any of that. Nothing. Bow and arrow. Nothing. She didn't even have to. She didn't have to raise a weapon. She used her keyboard as the weapon. She used her social media contacts as the method, really, the gateway or the highway to get her message out to. And I can't believe some reports that she has like over 100 million people that follow her worldwide. Does anybody know if that's true? Does anybody know if that's true? If anybody in the chat room knows that's true, is that true? She has over 100 million people that follow her in different platforms. Folks, that's incredible. That's an incredible amount of influence for her to send out that tweet and get into it with those scoundrels, the cancel culture. The cancel culture is going to go away soon. It's going to. Matter of fact, I predict that the boomerang is going to come back on them. When they start trying to cancel people, they're going to be canceled. That's what's going to happen soon. People are getting fed up with the cancel culture. Even people on the left. It's preposterous. It's incredible how such a small group of people, and I'm under 5% probably, certainly under 10. These real far out, whacked out, loony liberals, okay? They're under 10% for sure, probably less than that. But I gotta say, amazing to me how, with such small numbers, they've been able to affect such tremendous influence over things. I mean, now, let's not forget that in that mix, you have the server farms that have who knows how many accounts. I don't know. Hundreds of thousands of fake accounts that they activate, and they bombard people with apparently these fake accounts, and then they trend and they destroy people's lives or whatever happens. A lot of times nothing. A lot of times people just say, bring it on, and it makes them stronger. And that's eventually, I think that's what is going to start happening, is these people that are getting canceled, this boomerang, as I stated, is going to fly back on the cancel culture. I sure hope. Bot farms. Right, thanks, Shelley. Bot farms, you're correct. They're bot farms. If you haven't seen these bot farms, you can probably find videos somewhere. I don't know if they'll be on YouTube, but there'll be videos somewhere, YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, something, where you will see the bot farms. And if the ones I've seen have a bunch of phones, the one I see has a bunch of phones, I believe, hooked up in succession here, and I think they run those somehow, connect to those phones, and probably all go through the phone apps. Maybe that's the easiest way to do it. Don't know. Not a crooked, not a criminal, not a crook. I don't know how they do crooked things. I don't follow crime in that way. I try to expose criminals, not be one. Tim, hey brother. Tim Daniels is on the phone, on the chat room there. It's good to see Tim. I believe I know he has. I don't know when it is, but Tim has invited me to speak at his event, and I'm delighted to do so. And I don't know when that's coming up because I've just got 10,000 things going on at once, and I don't remember what day it is. But I'm sure it's not probably tomorrow. But Tim is out there in Michigan. my old stomping grounds. He is actually in northern Michigan, which is a beautiful area in its own right. There's a golf course up there that I actually, I forget what it was. I think it was a work event. It was a work event maybe for my wife at her work back when we were in Michigan many, many years ago. And I think they went to, thanks Tim, November 22nd. That's way in advance. I'll have plenty of time to get ready for that. So we the event was, I believe, on Mackinac Island. And I believe we stayed there for a night or two, if I remember. At any rate, we went up there early, and I golfed. We stayed at a hotel like the day before the actual event. We stayed at a hotel up there, my wife and I, up there, right at the northern, well, you know, the mitten, at the very tip, right before you go across the bridge, and played golf. I played golf. I played 18 holes there. I was the only one out there. It was very early. It was right when the sun came up. It was 5:30. And I remember trying to golf that course, and these black flies would just, I mean, if you've ever golfed and you've had to deal with these black flies, it's miserable. It's a beautiful golf course right next to the lake, and I got to put up with these damn black flies. And you know, if you go in and take a shot, and if you've ever golfed, there's a certain amount of concentration that you have to muster to be able to strike the ball in an appropriate trajectory and speed and angle to be able to get it to do what you want it to do. And while you're sitting there concentrating and trying to put all that math together in your head, you got these damn black flies that are landing on your neck and biting you and biting your legs and biting your arms as you're trying to get all lined up. So, beautiful place. Mackinac Island, you can't drive there. You have to take a ferry to get across. So you had to park your car there, not very far from where we stayed at that hotel, and ferry to cross there. Beautiful place, but the golf course there in the summertime is loaded with black flies, so keep that in mind if you ever decide to go up there. But anyway, Tim, November 22nd, looking forward to being there at your event. I haven't really put together a presentation yet, but we'll talk offline and let me know what I need to do, and I'd be happy to do that to help you and your event. Okay, we're going to take a break here in just a moment. But before we do, we come back on the other side. We're going to start talking about the Flathead Valley crime situation, and then we're going to open the phones here. Let me hit one more story on the insurgency. Again, folks, if you want to get the insurgency, I'm going to get a routine down, if you will, where I'm going to highlight the stories in the insurgency on a daily basis. But in the meantime, you can go here and check it out yourself. And again, you can subscribe to it. It's free. There's a free program and a paid program. I think the free program you get a couple days a week, and the paid program you get 5 days a week or 6 days a week. I'm not sure. Of course, because of my relationship with the Gideon Knox group, I think I have a full program, I didn't have to pay for it because I'm part of the group. So I don't even really know how much it costs. I think it's like $8 a month or $7 a month at any rate. It's a cup of coffee or 2 cups of coffee. So check it out over at gideonknox.substack.com. gideonknox.substack.com, and click on the insurgency there, and you can sign right up and get it sent right to your mailbox every day if you choose. Every single day. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break here, and you're going to recognize these commercials, and there will be the same commercials in the new show, but they'll be probably updated some. But I'm trying this new video thing here where it runs these commercials together. It's a video playlist thing. It's the first time I've ever tried it before. So we're just going to go for it and see if this works. And we get back on the other side, we're going to start breaking down the crime statistics for Flathead Valley and Kalispell and open the phone lines if anybody wants to call in and talk about those things. 516-418-5884. 516-418-5884. We'll be back after, again, that's the first time I've done this before with this particular thing here, so let's hope it works. I'll be back after these brief messages here on Montana Gazette Radio, MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaGazetteRadio.com. I'm your host, James Wright. We'll be back after these brief messages. If you like classic cars, exceptional service, and a money-back guarantee, then the Corner Shop in Okay, beautiful downtown Kalispell is the place for you. Whether it's an oil change, engine diagnostic, suspension work, or brakes all around, the Corner Shop has you covered. With expert technicians and a free consultation on all services, you can't go wrong with the Corner Shop. Did I mention the classic cars? While you're waiting for your expert service to be performed, take a stroll through the showroom to see Kalispell's smoothest collection of classic cars. The Corner Shop is conveniently located at 1212 South Main, just south of the courthouse. The Corner Shop is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., so drop by for an appointment or call 755-7777. That's 755-7777. The Corner Shop, Kalispell's full-service auto repair facility.
PatriotPrepared.com carries the leading brands of storable food from Legacy and Heaven's Harvest. Patriot Prepared. Our name says it all. We're dedicated to empowering you to be self-reliant and confident in any circumstance. Whether you want to be prepared in the event of an emergency or you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, PatriotPrepared.com has prepackaged meals and kits for your entire family. Legacy, Heaven's Harvest are known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. Simple to prepare, easy to store, gluten-free and organic high-quality nutrition options with a 25-year shelf life. You can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. So go to PatriotPrepared.com right now to pick up your supply of high-quality storable food for your family, because it makes good sense to be prepared. That's PatriotPrepared.com.
Okay, that didn't suck, except for the very beginning there. Something happened. I don't know what was up with that, but again, I don't look at the log file and figure out what happened. I think maybe the drive maybe had just backed down or something. At any rate, thanks so much for coming back to the for hanging out with us after the break. If you haven't taken care of your storable food needs, you can go to PatriotPrepared.com and do that. I've just updated the site recently and updated the in-stock items, and believe it or not, some of the items that I just updated are already out of stock again. Some of that stuff, especially the small packaged vegetables and fruits, man, they just like fly off the shelf like crazy town, crazy. But if you don't have your storable food or your water filtration kits or your toilet kits or any of that stuff, you can check it all out over at PatriotPrepared.com. That's PatriotPrepared.com. And you help this broadcast when you purchase items from PatriotPrepared.com. That's for sure. We do appreciate that. Okay, so let's talk about, if we can, let's get around to the, and then we're going to open the phone lines here if you want to call in as I'm talking about this. Again, the number is 516-418-5884, 516-418-5884. If you haven't called into a radio show before, this is a really good one to start with because I'm a pretty easy going guy. I don't berate the callers, and I'm not going to embarrass you or anything like that, unless you're a jerk. Just don't be a jerk. How about that? But feel free to call in 516-418-5884, and we're going to cover some of the stuff here with Flathead Valley. Bring up this. There we go. All right, so let's talk about this first. And my condolences and prayers go out to the family here. Not sure if you've heard what happened here pretty recently. News break. I don't even really know what this website is. It just kind of thing came up. One of the top ones that came up. Homeless man allegedly kills gym manager over membership refund. A Montana gym manager was fatally shot after an argument with a homeless man about a refund for an unused gym membership, witnesses say. Matthew Underhill, the assistant manager of Fuel Fitness and Nutrition, says he and his manager, 27-year-old Matthew Hurley, confronted a man described as homeless and sleeping in the fitness center's back parking lot on Thursday morning. and now the manager, I believe, is deceased. Matthew Underhill, of course, is still living because he wouldn't be able to talk to the reporter if he wasn't. So the one that was killed was Matthew Hurley, 27, confronted a homeless man in the parking lot, and it didn't end well. Now, another story I couldn't find was right here in the very street that my office is on. This is the street here that I'm on. It's out in front of my office. Pardon me. It's the street that I drive down to park here in front of my office. Is considered one of the most dangerous streets in Kalispell because of the drug dealing that goes on there at the other end of the road. Someone was killed here on this street, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Someone was murdered right at the other end. You can't. And eventually, I'm going to have a camera outside. That's going to be outside the parking lot there. It's going to be mounted outside, and I'm going to be able to have a nice view. I think I'll be able to tilt it even. And when snow comes, and because there'll be copious amounts of snow. But when I get that up, you'll see I'm pretty close to the park here on the other end of the street. The park is just on the other side of the street here. I don't even know, 100 feet away. I'm talking about the other end of the street is where the riffraff is. And someone was killed down there at the other end. So this is not good, right? There's remains of someone found up by the railroad tracks here. I think about a year ago, a young kid. There was an armed standoff in Evergreen here not very long ago, and again I couldn't find these darn stories, and maybe I wasn't searching them properly, but I couldn't find them here before. At any rate, I know this happened because I drove over there, sadly. But this is and they had the tape around and everything, and that scene, I was there at that scene. But this man was shot. Apparently he went out and said that went out and gave the refund back to the guy. Apparently he signed a membership for the gym. They went back to refund his money, and they didn't give him enough, apparently. In his mind, he deserved more, so he pulled out a gun and started firing. And I tell you, just by the grace of God, the one guy lived. I mean, the assistant manager, he was just feet away, and the manager, of course, wasn't so lucky, but the assistant manager somehow was able to escape. So that is, we're thankful for that. But I mean, do you have to even carry a pistol when you're your assistant manager and you walk outside? Perhaps. So I see there's a lot of comments here for some reason on Facebook, and they're not showing up, and I don't know why. So if you're asking me questions on Facebook here, they're not showing up for me for some reason. I see there's a lot of comments, but they're not showing up. Now let me see if I can open this. Maybe that'll help. The manager and you walk outside, perhaps. So let me mute this. Okay, there we go. So I can see a lot more of the comments now. All right, so I guess I had to open up that other thing there and see this. Okay, great. Appreciate you guys commenting. Okay, so let's get back to business here. Again, you can call in on the show here, the line. What's the show number? 516-418-5884. Some days you have phone calls, some days you don't. Some days I've had phone calls where I've lined up. The calls are so lined up that I had to like cut 5 or 6 people off at the end of the day because I didn't have time. And some days there is, and some days there isn't. All right, so let's look at some of the most dangerous places to live here in Montana for 2021. You see the beautiful mountains and the national parks, but understand there's some crime out here for sure. I mean, it's not like it's not like New York or Chicago, but something you have to be mindful of. The 10 most dangerous places to live in Montana. Number 1 is Cut Bank. Cut Bank is there north of here through the park. You have to go through you got to drive through Glacier Park and go to Browning from here. You take Highway 2 all the way up to Browning, and you hang a Ralph, and you drive down to Cut Bank. Don't really know many people in Cut Bank. I'm sure there's a lot of fine people there, but they are the number one most dangerous place with violent crimes in Montana, with 1,184. Helena is number 2. Of course, Helena is filled with is where the state capital is. It's filled with politicians, so of course it's going to have a high crime rate, because a lot of politicians are crooks. Number 2 is Helena. Number 3 is Great Falls. Great Falls is a great place. A lot of good people there. I have a lot of friends in Great Falls. But it's number 3 on the list as far as crime. Polson, which is about an hour south of here, right on the northern part of the Flathead Lake. Polson is a beautiful town. Beautiful views in Polson, especially at Flathead Lake. But it is the number 4th most crime-ridden, most dangerous city in Montana. Number 5th is East Helena. It's up 5. It's up 5 from last year. It's a suburb of Helena and the capital of Montana. It is located a short 5 miles from the center of political power. The next most dangerous town is Ronan City. Now, I've never been to Ronan City, and I'm sure, again, there's a lot of fine people in Ronan City. This is just according to these numbers here. The next most dangerous place, the 7th most dangerous place, is Wolf Point in Montana. As a matter of fact, I think that's one of the stops that Jordan Hall stopped at when he was just on his across Montana tour back in June, I think, with Sheriff Mack and Sheriff Mack and the late Robert David Steele and others. I believe that's one of the places that they went, was there in Wolf Point. The number 8 most dangerous city in Montana is Missoula. 411 violent crimes per 100,000 people, which is really not that bad, believe it or not. This is Kalispell, is the number 9th most dangerous in one of the 9th most dangerous in Montana, the 9th most dangerous city. And the 10th most dangerous city is Hamilton, down there south of Missoula, about an hour or so. So they have now there is it's not just, it's all over Montana. There's crimes the crime rate is increasing all over Montana. And let's take a look at, see if I get this next one here. Yeah, so let's take a look here at this chart. This comes from the FBI. Now, I don't really trust the FBI in much of anything, I have to say, but the FBI certainly they do a pretty decent job of keeping statistics. So the rate of violent crime offenses by population, you can see the average in the United States. It peaked here, 2000 halfway between 2016 and 2017, and it started on a decline, and it's on a slow decline here. This is violent crimes across the United States. But Montana, since 2013, has been on a steady rise. It leveled off here in a couple spots, not too long, and now it's up again, and it's over the national average. So Montana, generally speaking, the violent crime in Montana is above the national average. Do I have a reason for that? Do I know why that is? I suspect it probably has something to do with meth. I'm sure that meth has something to do with it. I don't fully know, but we can have Austin Knudsen on the broadcast, and we can ask Austin Knudsen about that. I know he's been trying to fight this meth crime and that situation for quite some time. So we're actually reach out to his folks and have him on the broadcast here. I was going to kind of wait until we got going on AM and FM, but maybe I'll call him here shortly. So let's take a look at this chart a little bit more here and check it out. This is demographics. The most of the crime is done in the resident's home, meaning in a person's home. Highway, street, alley, or sidewalk. That's the second largest. Bar and a nightclub. Hotel, motel, elementary school. Most of the people that are victims of crime, they know the person. Majority of them. It's their acquaintance. So if you go to this website here, this Crime Data Explorer app. Let me put it here in. I think if I put it here in Facebook, it's going to turn the volume on the thing. I think maybe not. There we go. Maybe not. Okay, no, it didn't start it. Okay, there you go. You can, if you go to Facebook, there you can see what I'm looking at. You can look at that yourself. You can bring up any state, I believe, and put in your state. But there's a the main part of this graph here. This is to 2019. You can see the crime rate in Montana is on the rise compared to the rest of the country. Now this, and I don't pretend to be a Montana historian, but I do know that if you look at the Copper Kings and what happened back in the days, in Butte particularly, there was a network of criminals that ran things, and that has been a common theme that's run through Montana politics, I think, ever since. Now, does that mean that every politician, every person that's in office is a crook? Of course not. I'm just saying, it has a history. It has a long and distinguished history of criminality here in Montana. They're one of the most corrupt states in the union, believe it or not. Especially the judicial system is really, really bad, really, really corrupt. And that's one of the goals here on Montana Gazette Radio, Montana Daily Gazette, is to expose crooks. That's what we want to do. We like exposing crooks. We don't like criminals at all. Okay, let me pop back over here and check out some of the crimes in Kalispell specifically, which is the largest city in the Flathead Valley. This is as of 12/30/2020. So you understand that they can't get full crime stats on 2021 because we're still in 2021. So the best they can do is the year previous, which is what this is. This was compiled at the end of last year, so it's going to have 2020 data. But again, we won't be able to get the 2021 data until next year in January. So let's go here and check this out. The Kalispell, Montana crime statistics for 2021. 923 total crimes. 3,771.5 crimes per 100,000 people. That is 52.28% above the national average here in Kalispell. 36 out of 41 in Montana. We're 8,568 out of 9,891 in America. According to the most recent data from the FBI, the total crime rate in Kalispell is 3,771 per 100,000 people. That's 52.28% higher than the national rate and 46.16% higher than the Montana total crime rate. So Kalispell beats out pretty much. I think they're the number one on every one of these categories here. And let's look through these categories here. Maybe I can switch my camera over so I'm actually looking at the screen that I'm actually looking at for this to give you this information. Maybe that'll help some here. I think you can still see my iPad over there over my shoulder. Probably. Let me take that out. There we go. Okay, that'll work. So you can see these statistics here, I'm sure. Okay, so let me close this window. Kalispell, per 100,000 people, 4.1 murders. In Montana, the average is 2.5. The national average is 5.0, so it's just below there. It's the number one. It's in Montana. It's pretty high above the average. Robbery 8.2 per 100,000. It's lower than overall Montana, more than half, and way less than the national average. Aggravated assault, Kalispell has much more than 23 more, pretty much, than the rest of Montana, and way above the national average. Violent crimes, Kalispell 416.8. The national Montana average is 404.9, which is higher in Kalispell than the national average of Montana, and is substantially higher than the national average across the country. Burglary, in Kalispell it's 277.9 per 100,000 people. The Montana average is 270 per 100,000 people. So Kalispell beats Montana again on that, but it doesn't come close to the national average, which is considerably higher. Larceny, we have in Kalispell 2852.1. Montana average is 1,700.6 per 100,000 people. It's a lot higher. Larcenies is a lot higher in Kalispell than Montana, and it's even way higher, substantially higher than the national average. Car theft, pretty close to being on par across the whole. 224, 222, 219. That's statistically not even significant, really. Property crimes, this is significant. 3354 for Kalispell, 2193 for the rest of Montana, 2109 for the rest of the country. Violent crime rates in Kalispell, 102 violent crimes, 416.8 per 100,000. That's over 13% above the national average. Property crimes, it's about 59% above the national average. So what in the world, folks, is going on here in Kalispell? Let me change the camera here back here to the other camera. And I forgot that I had changed that view, but see if I can flick it back here real quick. Yeah, it doesn't happen very fast, but it does it nonetheless. What in the world's going on with the crime here? What is it? I mean, you see these numbers, they're alarming. They are quite alarming, some of them. They are well above the national average on some of these numbers. What is it? Is it just a lot of people moving here to Montana? I see you have a caller. I see you're on hold there. I'll get to you in just a second. Is it because there's a whole bunch of people moving to Montana? Is it because of meth? Is it because of other things? I sure would like to know. But it's becoming dangerous here in some places. I come from outside Detroit, so it's not that dangerous. It's not like living outside Detroit dangerous, or driving through Detroit dangerous. But it's if you go out into the parking lot to tell a homeless guy to leave your parking lot and you end up getting shot, it's not a bad thing. This is not a good thing. So we have a caller here. Let's bring the caller on the line. I think it's Patrick. Caller, can you hear me okay?
Can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Excellent. Yes. Is this Patrick? Yes, it is you, isn't it? Hey, Patrick, thanks for calling.
It is. Yeah, how you doing?
Good to talk to you. It's been a while since I've talked to you. I've been taking a bit of a hiatus here on broadcasting. I've been getting the studio here and the stuff that you see here and all the different stuff that keeps.
Good.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's there's a lot of hard work to get there, and we're not done yet. We're not finished. We're still gonna jazz it up some, but we're waiting for some high quality professional, audio and all kinds of other stuff. So, thanks for calling in, man. What's on your mind? Are you curious? You want to talk about this crime in Montana?
Well, we were all thinking about moving back to Montana, but now you've talked us out of it. I guess.
Well, no, we need good patriots here, man. No, and that's the thing, Patrick. What is it? Is Is it the influx? I mean, I got to believe that the majority of people that are moving here to Montana, and there's a lot of them, I got to believe the majority of them are not scoundrels and scumbags. I mean, there's got to be some other reason. Is it drugs?
Oh. It's people that don't want their vaccines, right? You guys put that law through, right?
Oh yeah, there's none of that. There's none of those shenanigans going on around here now. For now, anyway.
Yeah. You hear the thing I was going to talk about was constitutional counties. You've been hearing anything on this?
Oh yeah.
There's a handful of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. As a matter of fact, there's going to be there'll be a. Go ahead. But there's a little bit of delay in our call.
No.
But go ahead.
No, it's okay. There's a couple in Nevada, and then I just learned there's actually one in New York State on the Buffalo side, Cattaraugus County. They say that they're not going to take any state or federal laws, that they're going to be constitutional.
Yeah, we have Kirk McKenzie, who's actually scheduled to do a broadcast on our network on KHDN. We're trying to determine which night that's going to be, but it's going to be called the Constitutional County. As you may or may not know, Patrick.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Sheriff Mack was just here in town a couple of months ago, and he, of course, has been pushing that quite a bit. So yeah, we're very familiar with it. We think it's a great idea. And as I've stated before on this show, Patrick, and if you've listened, I know you're a listener, and I know you don't get a chance to listen all the time, but you may have heard me state previously that, forget about Washington, D.C., regardless of what you think of Trump. Forget about that. That's a sideshow. That's a distraction. Those people are all they're all compromised, blackmailed swamp creatures. You need to concentrate on City Hall at the end of your street, your mayor's office, your county commissioners, go to your state capitol and concentrate on the legislators there. That's where the change is going to be. You need to get a constitutional sheriff, folks. That needs to be one of the number one priorities coming up in the 22 election. If you have an election where your sheriff is up for election, one of the most important things you can do for your family and for your safety is elect a constitutional sheriff. Patrick, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the Constitution is what's going to save us in the end. I mean, that's the real divide right now. What's constitutional and what isn't. And unfortunately, there's a lot of places that aren't constitutional right now, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, well, there's a concerted effort by the left to, and I've said it on the program, it's not going to be popular, and people may, say bad things about me, but it won't be the first time. But, Patrick, it looks like the government's out to kill us. I don't even know how else to put it. Looks like they're out to kill us. I mean, what's your thoughts about this border? You've seen this, they call them Bidenville now. What's your thoughts about these tens of thousands of migrants that are just hanging out on the border, waiting to bust through? As I mentioned before you came on, some of these people, I'm sure, are just, good folks that are trying to get their families to a better life, which I can understand. But it's not them I'm concerned with, Patrick. It's the drug dealers and the pedophiles and the child traffickers and the drug runners and the gun runners. Those are the people that concern me. Are you concerned as I am?
I am, and the bigger thing is really just from our government standpoint, what are the priorities? Like, why is it a priority to make sure these people all have a place to live when, our freedom of speech isn't a priority? Like real basic American values are not priorities. Our priorities are supposed to be foreigners.
Well, I mean, even more so, yes, good point. And even more so, why in the world? I mean, did you see they've been pressing this guy from Fox News, which I think is nothing but it's the mouthpiece of the right. It's the controllers of the right. But at least this guy, Peter Ducey's been asking Jen Psaki, Biden's mouthpiece, about why do 80 or 100 million, why are you mandating 80 or 100 million workers get the shot, yet tens and 20 and 30,000 migrants walk across the border and you don't mandate them to get a shot? Oh, that's a different situation, she says. They're not here to stay very long. I mean, really? I mean, really?
Yeah.
They're not going to be here very long. So, okay, are they going to be here long enough to spread disease? Because it certainly doesn't take very long to be in a closed room with somebody hacking and coughing until you're breathing the same air they are. Go ahead.
It doesn't take me long to go in a restaurant and order a cheeseburger and leave, but they seem to be all concerned about that.
You know, and everybody's got their COVID stories. So I went to one of the restaurants around here. I won't throw them under the bus. I'm just not gonna go there anymore ever again. So I go into the restaurant here. This is during the height of the COVID thing, right? Buddy of mine. We go out for breakfast on Saturdays. We every other week or every week anyway. So we trying to try somewhere new. So we go up to the place and we walk in the door and the woman's like, okay, so you can sit right over here. She literally points to the first booth from the door, right around the corner, the first booth. I'm talking like 3 to 4 steps and I'd be sitting down, okay? She's like, do you guys have masks? No, we don't wear masks. Well, you need to have masks to go to your table. I said, that table right there, 3 steps away, I have to wear my mask to go to that table to sit down and then I can take it off. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're not going to eat here. We're going somewhere else. We're not gonna play the game. We're not gonna play the face diaper game. But that's how crazy it is, Patrick. I mean, you mean to tell me that in those 3 steps, the COVID is just hanging around that space, just waiting for some guy to walk in without a mask, and then once he sits down, well, we can't infiltrate him. Then we got to go. I mean, come on, it's just ridiculous. It's preposterous. I mean, it's almost like you sound foolish even talking about it. But so unfortunately, that's the world we're living in. And you're right. In some states, it's bad. And these blue states are going to be in some trouble. But thankfully, Montana, for now, has stood up. And we're appreciative of that. That's for sure. You're out there. You're out in the land of fruit and nuts out there, aren't you, Patrick?
Yeah. We're in Texas area right now.
Okay.
So it's hit and miss because the major cities are Democratic, even though the state is red. So I think if there was ever like a real like kinetic war out there, I think that it would happen in our state. I just think between the border here and the state being split, it's just kind of a hotbed right now.
It is indeed. Folks, if you want to call in, 516-418-5884, 516-418-5884. If you want to call in and speak about whatever, really, at this point, you can talk about whatever you'd like and just kind of getting back into the swing of things with the phone lines. Anything else on your mind, Patrick?
Not much. Just touching base. Want you to know the show looks really good. We actually have it hooked from the laptop into the HDMI cable up on the big screen, so you look good.
Oh, wow. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I think my mom does the same thing. I think she hooks up in the big screen. Well, it's let Clarita know I said hello, if you don't mind, please. I appreciate that. And
yeah, I will.
It's good having you on the show. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate you calling in. It's good for you to touch base. We'll be going every night, 5 to 7 p.m. And this phone number is going to be the same for now, so you can mark it down. Feel free to call in anytime. We're going to try to get a 4016 number, but like I was stating, with cell phones these days, there's really no long distance charges anymore, so it really doesn't. The phone number really makes no difference these days. But it's probably good for the for the folks that won't understand why I don't have a Montana number. I'll probably try to get one. But Patrick, thanks for calling in. Appreciate you, man. Be good.
Yep. Great hearing from you. Take care.
You too, buddy. Thanks so
Bye.
much. Okay, there goes Patrick Lynn. Great guy. He's been out here to Montana before. He came to visit me out here. And I've done a show with Clarita, who's his significant other. And we've, back when I was doing the CPS stuff regularly, Just a horrific case of her. If you've heard me talk before, folks, about the pastor that ended up being the pimp, that's her case. That's her case right there. She's the one that brought up the fact that she thought it was unusual that the men of the church were leaving with young girls and spending time away unchaperoned, and she brought that up to the pastor, and come to find out that the pastor was the one running the women, and they ended up taking her child, and pastor ended up pimping her daughter out. Yes, as horrific as that sounds, it's absolutely true. As much as I hate to say it, I tell you one thing, folks, you do have no idea the amount of evil that we deal with in this world, man. Some of the things that I've had conversations with people about that have been involved in these satanic ritualistic abuse organizations, and on both sides, on perpetrators and victims, and these things I can't even speak about. I can't even speak about on the show. Not because I'm worried about getting banned. It's because I don't want to give people nightmares, and as you're staying up at night, people are probably already having a hard enough time sleeping as it is. Hey, Queens, New York. Big Tony Knuckles. Thanks, Tony, for looking in. He is coming in on... Big Tony's coming in on Podbean. Again, we have multiple locations here, folks. You can get the program. You can get it on Facebook, Twitch, Rumble, Facebook. If you go to Montana Gazette Radio, the Facebook page, you can get it there. You can get it on Blog Talk Radio, and you can get it on Podbean. So, Big Tony Knuckles. That's a great name, Big Tony. That's a fantastic screen name, Big Tony Knuckles. I love it. I don't think there's anybody named Big Tony Knuckles in The Sopranos, but I tell you, I really love that show, The Sopranos. What a great show that was. A lot of great acting in that show. Too bad what happened to Gandolfini. It's too bad. I mean, people die. What are you going to do, right? But someone like that high profile, it's kind of shocking. And he was a fairly young guy. I don't think anybody expected that. 516-418-5884. 516-418-5884. If you want to call into the show. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put together a program that's going to talk about what we got going on here as far as psychologically speaking. Now, I'm no psychiatrist or psychologist, and I don't claim to be. I do have probably more of a background in that than most people. Most people that are, laymen's, I guess, or just regular folks. I'm not a doctor, I don't have a degree in any of that. But I did, back in Michigan, I did work with my uncle quite extensively and helped him start a few clinics back there in Michigan, and have been in that field, was in that field for many years. So there is a psychological element to all this for sure. It's a big part of it. As a matter of fact, I would suggest to you that's probably the biggest part of all this battle that we're in right now with the deep state, or whatever you want to call them, is the psychological battle. And that is where the war is going to be won and lost up here. That's why there's such a battle for this here. This is where everything is. The battle is all in here, folks. This is it, right here. You have to master this part first, or you're going to get taken advantage of outside. Nothing happens out here. I don't talk on this microphone. I don't lift my hands. I don't do any of this stuff until it happens here first. It all happens here first. This is where you have to be strong. Because if you're strong here, you can handle a lot of what's going on out here. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to get across to people, is that we're going to be reaching a time here where it's going to be really hard to be mentally strong. You're not going to want to be. You're not going to want to be. It's going to be bad. I read this book years ago. I don't have it anymore, but because I gave it away to somebody and I never got it back again. But if you've never read the book The Fourth Turning by Strauss and Howe, I want to say they wrote it in 2008 or so, and they talk about the cycles, right? And I've covered this on the program before, but it probably bears repeating here because of the topic that we're on right now. But things in the world, like in the universe, like the natural universe, okay? these things, the stuff in the natural universe and in the cosmos and in the earth itself happens in cycles. Okay, it's cyclical. It's cycles. The sun is in cycles. The moon is in cycles. The seasons are basically cycles. Okay, they continue to. You get it cold, and then that cycle leaves, and it's warm, and you get my point. Well, when you're talking about the fourth turning, and the book by Strauss and Howe, you're also talking about cycles as well. And these cats trace back, I don't even know how many years. Maybe all the way back to the Civil War. I think they may have historically traced these cycles, and they always occur. I think it skipped one time, it skipped one of the cycles. But for 100 and something years, they occur the same way. There is a period of, growth, and a period of everybody's happy and everything's going well. And then people become decadent and they become complacent and evil takes over. And people get fed up eventually. They fight back. They defeat the evil. And they start that whole cycle back over again and again and again. And it takes like 70-something years, roughly. 75 years, 78 years, just depends, for these cycles to work themselves through. We are currently in one of those, well, we're always in them. Okay, there's one thing about it. You're never not in it. It's just what season are you in? And they break this down into seasons. And again, they're not my work. This is the work of Neil Howe and is it Carl Strauss? I can't remember his name. Neil Howe. I don't remember. Neil Howe, I know that guy, but one of them's passed away. Anyway, they did this landmark work where they talk about the fourth turning, and they they liken it to seasons: spring, summer, winter, fall. Well, we're coming into the winter right now, where if you believe what they write and you follow what they write, we're going into the winter months right now in this fourth turning, which is the most brutal and the most difficult. Think about it. Would you rather, if you had to live outside and you had to survive in this world, would you rather survive in a summertime environment, or would you rather have to survive in a wintertime environment? I don't think there's any long explanation for the answer to that. Well, we're in the winter part of it right now. And the great part is on the other side of the winter comes the spring, which is a rebirth, which is you shed the old and you come up in the new, and the flowers bloom and the trees bud, and it's a new birth. It's like a, in a sense, right? In nature's rebirth, it's that cycle, that spring cycle comes around, and they have the rebirth. Well, that's the good news. The good news is that's coming next. The bad news is we're getting ready to go into and I don't know if Biden, when he talked about a dark winter, if he was referring to the work of Strauss and Howe in the fourth turning, I don't know, because it's called a winter there. But he did state we're going into a dark winter. So that was accurate, I have to say, and we are going to be seeing, I believe, a lot. I mean, like I said, folks, if you look at the rapper Nicki Minaj, which I never thought I'd be talking about Nicki Minaj on this show. Never really mean that. Never did. Never really thought about Nicki Minaj at all. But the fact of the matter is, she came out and slapped the establishment right in the face. And she's no two-bit star. She has, from what I'm understanding, I mean, again, I don't know if anybody's confirmed this on the chat room. I didn't see this. But she apparently has millions of followers. Over 100 million. That's a serious amount of folks to have on your side, right? I mean, you think about what a handful of people do and how they destroy, personalities and news reporters. And I was seeing this documentary, little mini documentary, an interview really, about this one reporter that misspoke Martin Luther King Jr.'s name on a broadcast, and they ran him out of town on an accident. He slipped up. And they ran him out of town. Again, that boomerang is going to be coming right back at them, and sadly, they're not going to be able to. They're not going to know what to do. They're really not. So what I'm going to move forward. I'm going to be covering this MK Ultra mind control, the trauma-based mind control. Because what's going to happen, in my view, is there's going to be a gestalt period. It's going to be a point where a large amount of people wake up pretty quickly. So I gotta change this so my hand goes over that. See that? I gotta make sure my hand goes over that and not under it. Interesting. Can you see that? Can you see my hand going under the thing right there? Yeah, you can. At any rate, there's going to be a mass awakening, I believe, at one time. And there's going to be a realization that we have been duped, lied to, tricked, murder, raped, pillaged, stolen from, I mean, you name it, since our whole lives, our entire lives, nobody that's watching this video, no one watching this video has ever lived under a truly free, or in a truly free society. Not one. None of us have. So what's going to happen is, when this all comes out and people try to make sense of it, one of the main things, in my view, that there's going to be covered and have to be explained to people is the trauma-based mind control that we've been under. Now, you can tell, one of the things you can tell about trauma-based mind control is the trauma, which is the virus or the threat of death if you don't follow what they say. And they use that threat, that fear, that flight or fight. I can't remember the name of the guy that did the flight or fight. It's escaping me now. Gosh, I used to study this guy too. The guy that did the fight or flight, the guy that discovered that. At any rate, this is a physiological fact that if you're startled or you think you're in danger, or you think your life is in danger, then you are going to either fight. You're either going to stand up and you're going to fight, or you're going to flee and you're going to take off, right? So when they lock you down, you can't flee anywhere, right? When they lock you down in your home, you can't flee. You have to fight. And the psychological damage that's done to people constantly being in that state of fear, that state of, peril, that impending doom, which is that's the exact type of environment that they want to create for you. And they've done a great job at that. What that does is that causes people to become dependent upon their abusers, because they think that they're the only ones. It's all psychological. Again, it's all up here. They want to put people in a position of helplessness where they can't do anything. They can't leave their house. They can't shop at the store. They can't go to the bank. They can't congregate in a coffee house. They can't go to a funeral. Okay? All the stuff that none of it's lawful. Remember, there's a difference between legal and lawful. And we've covered this on the show numerous times. And when we get back set up again, Ron Gibson's going to be on regularly again, talking about these things. I had him on here a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks in a row as a preview. I started doing all the upgrades on the studio. Didn't even broadcast here for a couple of weeks, as you know. But legal and lawful are two different things. They may say it's legal. We're within our legal rights to tell you that you can't go out or that you got to get a shot, but it's not lawful. Okay, there's a difference, right? Something that's legal is municipal. That's something that is extra constitutional, meaning it's not within the confines of the Constitution, which is lawful. That's the law. Okay, that's your lawful rights that are enumerated in the Constitution, the God-given rights that the Constitution enumerates. That is put in in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. That's lawful. That's what's lawful. What's contained in there. Legal is municipality, is created by your local council or your local government, right? It's legal. They say, well, we can legally do that. Okay, maybe legally you can, but you can't create a legal statute or what you would call a law that violates the Constitution, because it is what is it? The city of Dallas versus Mitchell, I believe. I believe it's the city of Dallas versus Mitchell is the name of the court case. If you look it up, you can see where they state that if any law that is created that violates the Constitution is invalid. You don't have to listen to it. Do you understand? That's the big trick. That's why these people sit in the back off camera with their masks off, laughing their rear end off at us, because they know that it's not lawful for them to make these proclamations. They know it's not lawful for them to overlord over us like some sort of a dictator. They know it's not lawful to do that, but you don't know. And they get such a kick out of the ignorance that just permeates everybody in society pretty much, right? All we have to say is, no, you do not have the lawful authority to force me to do this. You do not have the lawful authority. Legal makes no difference to me. Legal is something that's created that violates the Constitution. Now, can it be both legal and lawful? Sure. Right? The legal stands up to be legal as long as it's backed up by being lawful, if that makes sense. But they can't create a ordinance, or your city council can't create a proclamation or draft a resolution that says you don't have a right to breathe free air. The health department can't do that, right? HHS or the Health and Human Services can't do that. DPH, the governor can't do that. None of them can do that. Not a one of them can do that lawfully. Not one. People don't know this. People don't know this. All you have to do is say, I'm not cooperating with your BS any longer. I'm done. I'm done cooperating. Not doing it. They can't throw, like Rand Paul said, they can't throw everybody in jail. The 55,000 people in jail, 55 million Americans in jail. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. That's not going to fly very well on their end. No, their way of doing things is just about over. Their way of doing things is just about over. And you can ask my wife, my lovely wife, who may be watching this right now. I told her several years ago that they were done for. When I saw the mainstream media losing grip on the narrative, and basically, love him or hate him, Donald Trump went right over him. He went right over the media, right to the folks. When he started doing that successfully, and I say that with his Twitter and everything, he just went right over them. He just leapfrogged the crooked press and went right to the folks. That's why he was so successful, because he wasn't dependent upon the press. I should say successful as a populist, because he wasn't dependent upon the press to be able to disseminate his message. He did it himself. When I saw that Donald Trump started doing that, and that he was able to get around the folks, or get around the press and get straight to the folks, I told my wife, I said, they're done. They're done for. That's the very last institution, or the most important institution, I should say, that they have control over. When they lose control over the media, the whole entire house of cards comes crumbling down. And you're seeing that happen now. I know it doesn't seem like it, But some of the things that have been coming out, these are devastating. Okay, I don't care if you're right or left. I don't know if you're Republican or Democrat, Libertarian. I don't care if you got green hair, if you marry a tree. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't really matter where you're from. People hate lying. They hate being lied to. They hate being made a fool of, right? I don't care what your political stripe is. I don't care what letter's after your name. People do not like to be lied to. And once they find out that they've been lied to by these so-called leaders, these scoundrels in power, you're going to see a backlash like you've never seen before against these folks. And folks, how can you put some of these things? You heard the old saying, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. How can you forget some of these things? How can you forget some of this stuff? You can't. The answer to that is you can't. Looks like I got a little over 5 minutes left here. So this is what you need to say to your politicians. See if I can pull this off.
You know, I'm a voter. Aren't you supposed to lie to me and kiss my butt?
So this is basically, that's Bill Murray, and that's one of the drops. And that's basically the truth, right? That's what they do. They lie to you and kiss your butt and tell you what you want to hear. They find which way the wind's blowing, and that's what they decide to do. This is the state of affairs that we have here today, folks. This is the state of politics. Remember, if you break down politics into the two words, poly means many. Okay, poly means many, and ticks are blood-sucking parasites. So when you're talking about politics, you're talking about many blood-sucking parasites. I don't know if I can make it any clearer than that. I wish there was a better explanation, but that sounds pretty darn good. So this is what we're up against here, and not all of them are that way. There are statesmen, and we are certainly we do appreciate them, and they're the ones that we're going to highlight here on Montana Gazette Radio and Montana Daily Gazette are going to be the statesmen and women, and we are going to promote them, and we're going to put their message out, and we're going to do what we can to take this country back. Folks, if you think you're going to have to just sit back and not have to do anything, you're wrong. You're going to have to. It's going to come a time. Some people, like myself and others, are out there, have been out there many, many years. You can see the writing on the wall a long time ago and have been active for a long time. But you're gonna get your place in the sun too. Believe it, you will. You're gonna have to. Your family's gonna depend upon it. So we're just coming to the end of the broadcast here. I don't have any outgoing music or anything like that yet. I will. As I said, we're working on all that stuff. We've got some professional voice people that are doing professional voice things. Some of the stuff is really cool that they do. You know, I don't have that talent, but I have been asked to do voice stuff before, but not like the stuff that we're getting is beyond what I've done, way beyond. So we're delighted that we have that opportunity. Again, if you want to support this broadcast, you can go to MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaDailyGazette.com, and one more time, if you want to support, if you want to get on that insurgency, let's pop this back up again here. If you want to get these emails in your mailbox every day, all you have to do is go to GideonKnox.substack.com. It's just that easy. GideonKnox.substack.com. I'm going to put that in the chat room here. It is nice today. You want me to sing you a song, Patrick? You don't want me to sing you a song, brother. Believe me, you do not want me to sing you a song. Now, my daughter, on the other hand, you would certainly want her to sing you a song because she's a fabulous singer, and she's won awards. I mean, you know, I don't talk about that much, but yeah, she is a fantastic singer, and maybe I think that I'm trying to get her, if she would, to to put together a song for the show here, and I play it and promote her. But she's going to school right now. She's got a lot going on. I'm sure it's pretty low on her list of priorities, but we'll see.
90 seconds.
90 seconds. Again, MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaDailyGazette.com. You can find us on a whole variety of different platforms, as you know. And we don't have all of them in place yet. But, no, I don't want that. I just want to go here. Let's see if I can pop over here real quick before the show's over and bring this website up real quick. So if you go here to this
60
website,
seconds.
to MontanaGazetteRadio.com, these are all the sites that we are going to be putting the show on. Some of this will be automatically on there because of the fact that we record it live, so it gets put there automatically. But when we get the show going, we'll be going to these places. We'll be putting them all up here on these different sites. So again, you can check all this out at MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaGazetteRadio.com. Okay, we are just out of time here. We do appreciate you looking in. And we'll be back tomorrow, same time. I don't know if I have any guests or not. I just don't know what's going to happen. I haven't thought that far ahead. But I will tomorrow morning. I'll figure it out. Thanks again for looking in. Until next time, this is James White for Montana Gazette Radio, saying bye now.
10 seconds.